Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. My name is Paul Wilson. Today I'm working on a project whereas we have a service invoice. I like to call it a sales invoice. And today's project is I will be managing customer data because this was a template that I downloaded from the when you go to you file new and then you got all the templates, the office templates. That was a template that I downloaded. And what I'm doing is adding VBA code to it for the first part to manage the customer data. So right now I'm going to go to developer, I'm going to go to Visual Basic, I'm going to add a module, and I'm going to rename the module. I'm going to call it Save Customer. Something short. We'll leave it at that, right? So that we know what is what. And then I have a similar code that I used before, but we're going to modify it. Now, I can't run this because it's not going to work right now. So we're going to modify it to fit this sheet because there's a few basic concepts that I want to go over. Um, First, I want to set the active sheet to set the what WS to active sheet. That's not good enough. We are going to set the active sheet to sheet 2 customer data. So I'm going to put work sheets customer data. And we need quotations. And this code, this is one of my first codes that I actually done this with. We're going to dim src as range. src, what is src? What is src? How is it used in our code? src will be set to ranges in cells. So this gets a little confusing. So the way I've written this code, and this was like a while ago, um, this this can work a lot better. And I'm going to change a few things for x equals 2 to I row if okay, so now this part of the code is x is going to be an integer. It's going to check through my sheet for duplicate entries. So how would we know if it's a duplicate entry? Well, I'm going to set this because um, it's going to be your column reference, and I'm going to set it to column reference 1. And if because if you get the same customer number, column reference 1 is going to be customer ID, right? And I'm going to go back to my Visual Basic. All right, I'm going to take out, let's see if we can get a customer name X2. So this is going to check columns 1 and 2 for duplicate entry. It's going to check it against what I put in the sheet to make sure I don't have a duplicate entry. And if there is a duplicate entry, it'll put up a message box duplicate duplicate entry. Say that like 5 times. Um, then we go to what is sheet 2? We could call it sheet 2, but I'm going to say with WS. Set it that way. And I'm going to take out this loop here because this doesn't apply. We don't need it. And we're going to have to redo all of this. So I'm going to start by saying we're going to use a with and end with, and I'm going to test parts of this code just to make sure. I'm going to put WS, and I could take out that, and I'm going to just do one example. All right, we're going to save. Let's see here. We're going to say we're just going to start with I row 1. And then one other thing I noticed about this code is like um, two variables kind of doing the same thing. So maybe we could look at eliminating that. Um, let's see here. What I need to do is I need to go to my notes and say what cust ID. Change that with cust ID value. See how that works. Application with WS end with at the end with, and you have to end sub. So I'm gonna make this button, and just to make sure we're on the right track, we're gonna see what this does. It's not gonna do much, but I just want to assign the macro, save data. Okay. Let's say if I put a customer number 12345, what will happen? Ooh, runtime error 9, subscript out of range. All right. So I'm going to hit debug, and we have the I row is equal to 0. The I row has to be equal to 1. Let's take a look and see if anything happened on the sheet that I should be aware of. That's the wrong sheet. uh, okay, whatever. That's not the sheet. Come on. Why is this one? We'll just hide that down there. All right, back to stop. All right. And then sometimes I need to run it again to see how the code actually did. So I want to see what we did here. All right. So I'm going to make a few modifications. Let's see, to just because we got to get this part of the code to run. And I'm going to take out the +1 and see what we get if I do that. Because that can't equal 0. And subscript's out of range because I row equals 0. Dim I row as integer. I'm going to set this I row equal to 2. Oh, this is why we're out of range, because I don't have I don't have I need to set this to WS. That's why. See how that works. +1. Put the +1 black. Alright, stop it. That's why it's not coming out. Object required, so we're going to need an object require. So here's what we need to check. Alright, we need to check if, according to my notes, cust ID exists. Okay. Okay. Cancel. We're not going to save that. There's always a technical glitch, always something funky going on. I just can't close this other page. Oh well. But we're not going to let interrupt what I got here. This is the wrong code. I'm not working on that. This will stop the debugger. Invalid. Don't. Just continue. All right, good. We got rid of that interfering with my code. All right, so what we need to do is we need to check if customer ID equal to, I think we could do this, WS, I could put WS dot cells X1, and I'm going to change this to company name dot text equals, according to my sheet, C. So it's going to be column reference 3. Column reference 3. All right, let's try that. And a runtime error 424. Okay, I know what I did wrong. WS dot and WS dot. Let's see if that works for us. Method of, so what we're going to need is another, and I might consolidate these with WS and with. I think that will do it. I like to troubleshoot as I go. That's my style. Member data not found. All right, what does that mean? Well, that means that this is duplicate check. All right, let's try that. Stop play. Object required. What kind of object could be required? Once again, I'm going crazy with this. Object required. You know what I could be doing? Let me see. We're gonna stop it, and I'm just gonna fill in those two fields. Blah, blah, blah. And see what we got here. Hmm. I'm going to take out the width. I don't think the width is going to work here. This will reset the project. But what we need this to do is we need to go WS. And it's not. Huh. Let's try this. Sheet 2. Customer data. I shouldn't have to do this, but I don't even think it's, I don't even know. With sheet and sheets. Let's see if that works for us. Object doesn't support this property method. It's giving me all kinds of problems. But this is part of this is part of it. This is part of it. Can we do it that way? Sub function or not defined. And I'm just getting like I get lost with these, you know. All right, back to it. It made. Why doesn't the object support this property or method? So I'm gonna have to look at this real closely here. Hmm. I'm gonna take that out, and I just want to see what happens. I just want to be able to save this code. What are we requiring? Okay, let's see if this. Hmm. Try. That's not gonna work. I could tell you that right now because I don't have a user form in this other than. So, well, let's see. Debug. Arrow equals 2. Let's see, look at the properties of this design mode here. And this is just, and this is part of it. Like I said, it's part of it. You got to troubleshoot. And I recommend troubleshooting through the code as you go. Okay, with WS range dot cells equals view. There we go. All right, view, and what we're going to do is I want to see here. I'm going to call it sheet 2. But why is this not coming up? Method or data not found. Something is off. Something is off. Something is off. Something is off. I know why. Does that work? How can the method not be found if it's on the sheet? Alright, so I'm going to have to go back to my notes. And I'm going to have to look at uh, Let's see how this works. Okay, so worksheets. I know. I know what. Okay, this is what you don't want to do. You don't want to get confused between your different sheets, okay? So I'm going to go back and we want to start with customer data. IRO equals customer data. Then with WS, we're going to do that part of it. But on this part, we're going to take out the with WS. We're going to end the with. And I'm going to do it kind of the way that I did it in the other way. And I'm going to say worksheets. Worksheets customer data form. No, customer data. Because that's the customer data. It's IRO2 equals worksheets customer data form, close quotes, dot. Let's try this. Dot value. All right, please for me, stop. Let's start. Subfunction. Ah, I know. Silly mistake. All right, let's try that. All right, so it apparently worked. Sort of. So there's some corrections that we got to make. Well, it put that under customer name, so we got to fix that. Let's go back. Why did it put that under customer name? Because it needs to go under IRO1. That's why. All right, and I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna delete that. Run this code again. All right, my name is Paul Wilson. My street address is blah. City, state, zip, blah. Phone number. All right. Name. Company name. Street address. City, state, zip. Phone number. Something like that. All right, before I even finish that part of it, we got to do all the rest of the code. This method seems to work, but what I'm going to do is we're going to need how many rows? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then you notice that I named all the fields in my field for this list of what we have to go with. So I'm going to repeat the code. And we're going to change some things. I think we need 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're just going to repeat what we did. 9, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and we got one more than we needed. Sometimes I get a little happy with the copy and paste, and then this is what happens. All right, now we need to correct this because they're not all customer IDs. We got customer name, company name, street address 1, street address, city, state, zip for the customer, phone 1, and I'm just gonna look back at my sheet again to make sure that we're on the right track. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So sometimes I'll count something in and I need to count something again. So we need to count until 11. So we'll just keep going with what we have. Let's see, I did phone 1. Now I need a ship name, company name 2, street address 2, and I need to copy two more of these for 9, 10, and 11. And the city state zip for the ship 2 address, and the phone number 2 for the street address number 2. And now I'm ready to run the code. Let's run the code. I'm going to go to my customer data form. And then another thing that I want to do is I want to run a reset the form. We need to reset the form after it's done. And that's what I'm going to do. So what we need, I wrote this code before. So I'm going to take and modify code which I've written previously in a past environment, and we're going to modify it to suit the purposes of this. So I'm going to go back to my Visual Basic editing window, add, insert a module, properties, not those properties. View properties window, and call this clear form. Now let's see here on clear form. I'm going to take out the checkbox. Leave that out because we don't have any checkboxes on this form right now, but I can add some later. And with we need to set, we need a dim WS's worksheet, right? And I'm going to say we need to set the worksheet as equal to not customer data, but it's going to be set up to customer data form, right? And then I'm going to go back to this, and I'm going to take what we have here, so I don't have to retype everything. I'm going to take it down in my notepad. I'm going to go Shift Home Delete. Shift home delete, 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 Shift home delete. All right, we're going to take these and we're going to list them out in my clear form, right? And I'm going to change all dot values to dot text. And I'm just going to say text equals blah. Just real quick. Because here's what I wanted to do. After I enter the data, I wanted to clear the form. Oops. Clear this as it's not relevant. And see if I can end the width. Okay. We need a width first. All right. Let's see how that works for us. All right. Now I'm going to add a function. I'm going to go back to save. Before I end sub, I'm going to call the close function, or call the clear function. Just simply call clear form. And let's give it a whirl and see if it works. If not, we have to go back and fix it. Oh, got an object required. So what does that mean? We can't do what we are doing exactly as we were doing it. But I wonder if this works. Hold on. Let me go back to my notes. Take a look in the past. Clear form. Temp check. What if I put me? I don't know where this me is coming from. Wonder if putting me will work. All right, let's try it again. Okay, something's funky. We are gonna stop it, and then we're gonna try to run it again. Invalid use of me keyword. All I want to do. All right, we're gonna take out the width. And we'll just take out the worksheet. It just seems that I have to do it like you have to really work around the way that you can get it to work. So we have to specify. I'm going to take that out because we don't need it. I wanted to do it that way, but and that's the beautiful part of VBA. You can try a couple of things and you can see what works. Let's see how that does for us. All right, so I click stop. Go back to our sheet here, and it worked. Our customer data is on the sheet. Now I'm going to delete a row because it appears to be the same thing. But I'm going to add some more functionality into it later. But just for now, I wanted to assign my macros and just get the basic functionality going. Um, let's take a look at the code again. It's real simple. You want to save a customer. Now I want to put that duplicate check back in there to check for duplicates. Save data. All right, and I'm gonna fix this code to work on this sheet because I don't want duplicate data. So let's see how we can make this work for us. If if customer ID worksheets dot customer ID text, this is going to get long and funky, and enter the company name, sales as reference below 1, and I'm going to set this to 3. And it's going to check 2 of the cells for a duplicate entry. Alright, so for the purposes of this, I'm going to see if I can generate the duplicate entry error. Alright, so I want to save. The code worked, yet it didn't check for a duplicate. How come? Now this is what I'm going to teach you to do. I'm going to teach you how to step through the code. So for all intents and purposes, let's see, I'll use my notepad here. Alright, enter the same data that we did into the worksheet. Let's try this again. Wrong one. Alright, get my windows right. Alright, so start with customer ID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops. And it saves my data. Interesting. Alright, so the code works, but it's not checking what I want it to check. So why is it not checking what I want it to check? Um, You know why? Because it's checking the wrong thing. So we need to put worksheets, customer data, X1. See how that works for us. And then we have to do the same over here. Dot. All right. And because I wasn't, you have to be really careful how you reference things in this. All right. So I'm going to take this information and it should dupe out. There we go. It duped out. So the problem was that I didn't have all my references right. It's real easy to get into a copy and paste frenzy and copy and paste the tons of data that um, you don't need to. So I'm quite satisfied. I'm going to save my work and I'm going to reset the form. And I'm going to come back later. We're going to demonstrate like just all kinds of different things with this. I like the thing about Excel VBA is that you take little projects. This is the way it works for me. I take little bits of the project at a time and I build it up as I go. And I add a little concept here, a little concept there, a little concept there. And that's really what it takes. Well, hey, thank you for watching my video. If you like this content and you feel it's beneficial to you, why not subscribe and come back for more? Also, if you feel this would be beneficial to a friend, you can share this content with somebody. If you have some questions or comments or concerns, feel free to comment. And most importantly, like the video and check out my site with data on this and further information. Thank you very much for your time and have a great day.